And so the world comes along and they say, okay, so you got the legalists, those are the people that demand you got to do it this way and that way, and then you got the people that don't really care, and they do whatever they want, and then here comes grace, and it's the bridge in between the two. That's what grace is. Grace is the bridge between the legalists. It's a proper balance between legalism and licentiousness. That isn't anywhere close to being right. Do not make that misunderstanding. The world makes it because they don't understand the gospel of Christ. Listen to me. Legalism and licentiousness are brothers. They are not at opposite ends of the spectrum. They are right here together. The legalists, those people that you think are always prim and proper and sticking to the letter of the law, and the people over here who are doing and freewheeling whatever they want, it seems weird, but they are brothers. Why? They will always end up in the same place because they are both focused on the flesh and the body. You get that? The licentious are certainly focused on the flesh. Whatever feels good, I'm going to do it. And the legalists over here are focused on the flesh. Well, I want to do that, but I can't. I won't. I must make sure that I'm pure. I must make sure that I do it this way. You see, neither one is dealing with the inward. Neither one is looking at what's going on in the heart. The legalists are saying, I must restrict my actions and I must do it this way. And the licentious are saying, I'm going to do whatever it is that I want to do. Right? You're getting this. They're partners who end up in the exact same place. I'm going to use an actual real-life example of what I'm talking about to illustrate this. I don't know how many of you ever read the book or you heard of the book by Joshua Harris. It was called I Kissed Dating Goodbye. This became a big thing, and I know there were people in the youth group here that read this book. This is pure legalism, is what it is. This is, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm not going to go out with anybody. Jesus is my boyfriend. That's who Jesus is. It was it was the teaching of purity culture is what it was. David French, who is a Christian author, he was a youth minister at the time of this. David French wrote about the I Kiss Dating Goodbye era because of Joshua Harris's story. He explained it this way. It worked like this. Sexual sin stained young persons. Even if Christ forgave them, they would walk into marriage diminished in some crucial ways. The white dress fundamentally was a lie. And the message wasn't confined to sexuality. Did you drink? Did you smoke a joint? Each one of those things altered a person's self-definition. They were no longer pure. They could never be pure again. All too many times, French says, I saw the despair. A young person would come to me and say, I screwed up, but they would really mean, I'm ruined. Their storybook dreams were dead. A 17-year-old with 70 years of life ahead of him would approach me carrying the awful burden of thinking that he had defined his life forever. He was no longer and never would be pure, the person he wanted to be. That isn't grace. That isn't the gospel. And where did this story end up? I don't know if you know what happened to Joshua Harris. It's all unfolding before our very eyes right now. Joshua Harris, the woman that he courted but didn't date and then married, they just announced that they are getting a divorce. They're divorcing. And it's not just that. Joshua Harris has announced that by every definition he's ever understood of what a Christian is, he is no longer a Christian. He's walked away from the faith entirely. Do you see what's happening? Joshua Harris was focused on the outside. I can't do this. I mustn't be like that. But what was he not dealing with? He was not dealing with what was going on in the heart. And what eventually happened, it erupted outwards. The last picture I saw Joshua Harris post on his Instagram was this, at a gay pride parade in London, wearing a gay pride t-shirt with a gay pride donut or whatever that is. I don't know if he's going to announce that he's homosexual. I don't know where it's going to end up. But this picture right here, stop and compare it to this guy right here. This guy was a legalist, and what would he have said about this guy? Licentious, same guy, ends up same place. That's what I'm pointing out to you. That's what I'm trying to get. They are brothers. By different names, they are brothers. Grace is not a balance between legalism and licentiousness. Hear me. What is grace? Grace is an alternative to that kind of a life.